Welcome to the FPLUSA Press Play podcast. You have your hosts from coast to coast, Mr. Brian Chin Nation here on the ones and twos, and I am joined by Mr. FPLUSA himself, Jonathan. How are we today?
Oh, I've been better. I am. If you are a loyal listener and you'd be so kind to get into our comments wishing my youngest daughter, Natalie, a happy birthday, that will prove to my family that people actually listen to this program. So just comment wherever you listen. Happy birthday, Natalie. My youngest princess turned 3 today, so we were thrilled to celebrate her.
Love that.
On the FPL and the Premier League front, there was a lot less celebrating. There was a lot more tantrums. Let's leave it at that. There was some naughty language that my kids shouldn't have heard, but it's all good, man. In the wash, we're alive, we have our health, and we're here to record about the FPL game that treats us so rotten.
That's right, Bucks. Well, many blessings to you and to all of our listeners from sea to shining she across the globe. And I would say, lots of things happening in the world. So hopefully FPL can be a small escape. Don't take it too seriously. But did you get a green arrow for Natalie's birthday?
No.
No
61
green arrow.
points all out. Let's just say that if I had properly set my captain and vice captaincy up in a way, having any thought whatsoever that Haaland wasn't going to play, that I would have gotten a green arrow. But it's small margin. I ended up bringing in Thiago and having the vice armband on him. It was a leftover from last game week when I vice captained João Pedro, who was the man who left the squad for Thiago.
Good transfer.
And he got 6 points. Normally, I would take that on captaincy, but if I knew Haaland for sure wasn't going to be captain, I'll tell you, I would have made sure to set the vice captain armband intentionally and would have probably just captained Bruno and used free transfers on Haaland. So there's a little bit of noise and drama in the hashtag FPL community from that. But overall, 61 points, pretty decent. Kind of my heroes were Thiago, Harry Wilson, and Bruno Fernandes. The Gabriel 9-pointer is utter woke nonsense, and he should have conceded 2 goals. So let's keep it moving there. How'd you do, Chin?
I did all right. I got 74 points this game week, or 75, something like that. I made 3 transfers.
Captain hit. I like that for you.
I'll tell you what. I made 3 transfers out of 5, and I brought in Thiago, I brought in Virgil, and I brought in Sade. 3 first half goals and only 20 FPL points combined. Pretty fucking pathetic. Because once you get 1 in the first half, you're like, look, an assist, bonus,
you start dreaming,
anything.
Yeah.
And they just were all pathetic. Liverpool go ahead to concede 2 goals. So you're getting minus points there. Thiago's getting yellow cards, whatever. And then Sade has one pretty, not a big chance, but the step below big chance where wow, I was dreaming. I could have had a 14, 15 point brace from him while they're up 3-0 versus Burnley. And then they almost shit the bed completely. So it was fine. But 74 points, I can't complain. And I have finally decided on my next strategy here, which is going to be bench boost in the blank game week 31 as I chase some big money bounties in a few leagues that have some shekels against them. So I will be actually imploring, something like that. I'll be using a new strategy where I will be taking hits the week before to go big on the week after. I'm gonna chase some cash down in the end of the season, because my season, who cares? But I'm gonna be going with some crazy strategies. So I'm looking forward to hopefully raking in a few extra quid amongst the final only 10 game weeks. Oh, can't wait till this fucking season's over. Let me tell you.
Yeah, well, listen, World War III might play its part, and we might never see Arsenal lift a trophy because despite them going for the quadruple, the world might end before we have to live in that multiverse.
Press pause on that. We're gonna get back to that.
Yeah, for sure. So, listen, great score. It's great to just get a green arrow, especially when you don't have the captaincy and the armband on Bruno Fernandes like many did. He was one of the top point scorers this game week. Ekitike was
Great
kind
pick.
of the other differential captain option that really went big. Elsewhere,
15 points.
Harry Wilson, you're probably pretty happy about the Haaland benching and him not being in the squad altogether. For most of us who had Haaland, I think we would have preferred to just see the lad fit and start and get points that way. Now, I'm kind of in the mud after rough FPL game week, but the beauty of FPL and the beauty of the Premier League is sometimes the space between game weeks is so short, you just got to brush it off and get the fuck back up. And that's the case we're in today. We're recording on Sunday night. The deadline for game week 29 is on Tuesday. So you got to set your bus teams, make sure you're all ready to attack the next game week, which starts midweek on a Tuesday. And for at least one manager, they wanted to shine in the spotlight a little bit longer. They wanted more flowers, more plaudits, more golf claps from us on how amazing they did. That's the manager of the game week. Now, their team name and manager name are in a dialect and a language that is not familiar to
I believe
the
in you.
But we humble ourselves with the help of AI. So we want to congratulate Squad Emperor of Thailand and manager. Wow. Hold on. Again, this is all, if ChatGPT messes this up, it is not my fault. It's not on me from pronunciation.
And you have the paid version too, right, Bucks?
Artem Trofimenko. A trophy in their name, so they might not be an Arsenal supporter. I love that.
Well done.
Congratulations, Artem.
How many points? Oh my goodness, 94 points. Well done. Well done. We appreciate you shouting out the leader in the clubhouse this game weekend. We have a deadline coming fast and furious. But before that, let's just sound off on a few of the ones and twos from this past game week, Bucks. Let's start with Arsenal 2, Chelsea 1. What are your thoughts on how this match played out, Bucks?
Disappointed. Credit to Arsenal. They won another ugly game. They are getting a lot of 3-point results in games where they don't show up with their best effort. But I think as a Chelsea fan,
could have drawn.
It's shoulda, woulda, could have, because at some point, the Chelsea players and the refs are conspiring to not let them finish with 11 guys on the pitch. They're not allowing them to see out these games where, frankly, they're the better team in a lot of these contests. I think, we've lost to Arsenal 4 times on the bounce this season. In 2 of those games, after going down to 10 men, we've been better than them in open play. So it just feels like the yardstick is always moving for certain teams. And it's always, a step beyond the toe for certain other of those teams. So
I'll tell you what, Bucks, where the yardstick needs to go? The yardstick needs to go and just be slapped on the ass of some of these Chelsea players, because just the lack of discipline sometimes, and, getting yellow cards for dissent, whether you should have gotten or not, and then just going a few moments later, making a tackle 40 yards from the goal that just does not even need to be done. And it's like, how many times has this happened this year? How many times has this happened this year where it's like, you need the captain and just the team to buy in a bit more, and you're letting down your teammates when this happens, and it's happened 9 times this season. 9 times.
Completely
fair. And it's just Pedro something Neto, where
he's, it happened this week to Pedro Neto, last week to Wesley Fofana. These are 2 of our more senior players. So you can't just blame it on youth and inexperience and, the mentality midgets. But at some point, we also have to watch the entirety of the game play out. And, if you're watching that game,
questionable
Arsenal
calls.
Score from 2 corner kicks, Chelsea score from 1 corner kick. But it's hard to argue that VAR and the ref are an unbiased passenger in what's going on this Premier League season. You see in clear, frozen slow motion that, Hato has Rice's bear hug, 2 hands around his body. He holds him, he jumps, and then he lifts his shoulder to handball it. VAR doesn't see it. Couple corner kicks later, João Pedro, bear hugged by Saliba, then punched in the face by Raya. I mean, if we're going to call fouls, then the fouls
insult
need to go
injury.
Both ways. And it just feels right now that Chelsea are on the shit end of that stick on the regular. Now, again, I'm not making any excuses. The players need to be better. They cannot be getting a second yellow card. like Fofana and like Neto did. It's completely unexcusable, and it ruins any chance of getting 3 points, let alone a draw.
Honestly, it's worse than the
It's a
straight red
double
for me.
standard. The
It,
Premier
it's
League needs
it's
to have a
worse than
serious
this.
investigation into the caliber of the refereeing and the VAR, because you watch the Chelsea game versus Arsenal, it's a completely different sport than what we saw in the Crystal Palace versus Manchester United game that happened just an hour before. So, one guy has 3 fingers on his shoulder and drops to the ground like he got hit with a sniper rifle. And then you're watching the London Derby, and it's like a broad daylight mugging with assault left, right, and center. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I would say overall, just the fact that you put yourselves in this position time and time again, though, and it's like obviously this is one isolated game, and you're thinking about it's fresh in your mind, but the numerous just disregard for the situation and the situational awareness that some of the players just do not
Sure,
seem to
sure.
have is something that's like baffling to me, right? And it's like I know Chelsea have one of the younger squads in the Premier League, up and down, right? So a lot of players don't have that experience, but like you said, like between Neto and Fofana, like they have a lot of caps, between them, and like just to put yourself and put the team in that situation time and time again is just super frustrating. And it was I think you were complaining about the announcers and the commentary, but at one point I think I heard the commentary say like at some point you just have to like find some of your own players
Yeah, they
because the
should. They
behavior
should. They should
on the
punish.
pitch is getting to a point where it's like so detrimental to the team's overall goals and their like just their position in the table. It's baffling.
They're right. I totally agree. They should be fining the players for every card, not even just a red. And just to take it a step further, you know, I watch a lot of the games, and I think there's just a consensus, and there's commentary that the league the league is worse than it's ever been. The caliber of the league. And that's just because our standards for like what we expect from everyone involved in the match experience has just totally fallen off a cliff, because of course we have VAR to, fix it. Or we have, these newly promoted teams that in the last 5 seasons have been absolute dog shit. We know they're going to get relegated. And
Mhm.
in this season, the teams at the bottom are fighting tooth and nail and playing really hard, really physical. And, just certain things have been allowed to be ambiguous. Handballs, fouls in the box, fouls on set pieces. And now we're
Yeah, that
28 games into a 38 game season. And someone who's played soccer for 10 years, not to mention, one of the game's greatest players, who's an Arsenal player, is watching the game. We have no idea what's a foul and what's not. It's a sad state of affairs right now.
yeah, and I would agree with you that the set pieces obviously, there's two sides of the coin. For Arsenal specifically, I'm impressed with the way that they have just decided like this is obviously one of our best weapons. We have the personnel, we have the coaches in place, we have the drilled practices of like this is how we know we can manufacture extra goals and
Sure.
have a really tight defense. And it's I was thinking about it too a little bit. It's like it's kind of like the tush push in the NFL. Like you hate to
Well,
see it,
like, it's not on
but
Arsenal, right?
it's
To like
it's it's
call the
something
foul
that's
on
working.
themselves.
Yep.
Yeah. Why would they
And
stop it? They keep getting
yeah,
rewarded for it. But anyone who
but
actually
I
played
was
the
I was gonna
game,
say that like the actual like the amount of physicality in the box and just like the grabbing and the hooking and like pushing people into the goalie and like all that, like that just doesn't make for a great watch. And that's why it reminded me of tush push as well. It's like you can't stop it.
it's a
You fucking
great
hate to watch it,
comparison.
but it's like it's just part of the game right now.
It's a great comparison, and it's unstoppable, because if you're legislating the rest of the pitch in a certain way, and then one team is allowed to employ a strategy where they're just kicking the shit out of you on every set piece,
Right.
and there's no punishment, there's no consequence, and when they score a goal it stands. And then you look back at the North London Derby, not 10 days ago, and the same player that's throwing guys to the ground, you know pushing them down so he can jump over them and head the ball, is brushed to the ground and goes flying like a loose plastic bag with the lightest forearm for a guy that's not even 200 pounds soaking wet. I mean, it's on the refs. The refs, the VAR, they need to do better. They need to hold the standard, or else we're going to get a lot more shit matches like this.
Yep. At the same time, I'm actually very
One thing that
intrigued
I
by
should
like
say
the
though, right? Because like Bruno is one of the haulers this game week. I think even more so than the Chelsea Arsenal VAR shambles.
Are you about to
I
put some
mean
respect on his
that
name?
Lacroix red card penalty is, it just shows that like, this, we can't have it all. We want the game to be better legislated. We want fouls to be given when they're fouls. But then we have guys that are like clearly just diving for the opportunity to take a penalty kick because the opportunity cost of getting one
Manipulation
goal has
of
just
other
become so
humans.
great in the game. So
Yep.
it's a bad place. It was hard to watch both those matches and feel like it was the same sport.
Yeah. All 4 matches today ended in 2-1 victories for the home
First
teams.
time
That's
in
kind
like
of cool.
forever, I think.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for sounding off on that, Bucks. That was a intriguing conversation. I'm glad that we tackled that. Outside of the Arsenal Chelsea match, though, and Arsenal sit 5 points ahead of Man City, I believe, in the table. Who else caught your eye? Anything else?
Liverpool were very impressive. Another no-show from Salah. No big deal. They score 5 goals regardless. I think that's the biggest blind spot when I look at my FPL team right now, and I look at many teams across the community. I don't even have a defender like Verge, and he keeps scoring goals, right?
Oof.
He's not getting clean sheets this week, but they weren't far off it.
Bucks, did you see I've brought the mother bleeper back into my side? And of course, you know what happens? Saliba, the man I take out with no attacking threat, hasn't scored a goal in 2 years, scores. I was like, oh my God.
I mean,
I can't even get gains on the smallest, this happens once every 2 years. And of course, it's the week that I take him out after having tripled up on him.
You'll have that move rewarded in time. But you just look at this team, and I mean, Gakpo, he looks like he could be an excellent differential pick, sub 8 million starting on the left
He's stunk
wing.
recently, but maybe he's the player to go for.
He's nailed with Wirtz out. And then Ekitike, kind of out of nowhere. He had 1 really good chance on goal and 2 like half FPL assists. He was the top scorer this game week. So I'm just really like, they have good matches. They at least have a short break before they start Champions League again. Like, Liverpool are a team I wish I had more routes to get their players in.
Yep,
right now.
I'm about to have 2 of them tomorrow. So right now, Liverpool, a nice tidy run. Wolves away, Tottenham at home, Brighton away, Fulham at home in the next 4. And then they play Everton, Crystal Palace, United, Chelsea, Villa, Brentford. So a good opportunity for a double or triple up over the next 5 weeks, 6 weeks even. Palace are down on their luck as well. So now's the time. I mean, how many weeks in a row did I captain Ekitike? 3 weeks in a row, and he blanked all of them. And I ripped him out on game week 24 wildcard, of course, 13-pointer. And then a couple game weeks later, 15-pointer. You do not want to give him the armband, but he seems like a boomer bust type of player that really could make you jump up the ranks each game week. So I will be most likely taking out Haaland this week to move to Ekitike as I prepare for my blank game week 31 bench boost. So going to start spreading some funds and taking Haaland out, but he's flagged. So is Wilson as well. Anderson and Fulham. Rice is flagged. So there's definitely room to wait until the press conferences on Tuesday morning in the UK and then help inform your final decisions before that deadline. So, lots of action coming in fast and furious.
Yeah. One last thing, a tidbit I want to just shout out is Burnley being a kind of popcorn worthy fixture all of a sudden. I wouldn't swerve them for FPL. I would still start any attackers against their team with confidence. But
not defenders, though.
Are they now? Are they the new most fun team in the league? They're scoring goals in bunches, and they have to be down 2 goals before they start taking the game seriously. That's pretty clear. I have to say that Burnley Brentford match this weekend. I kept being like, hold on, 5 more minutes before the nap. Please. Just lay on the floor and be ready next to your diaper so I can change it. It was
There was
insane.
so much VAR drama at the end of the match too. A couple different moments where they thought they completed the full 4-3
Yeah.
come from behind victory. It was truly a wild match. And yeah, I mean for this team, they're obviously still in the relegation zone, but at least they're like, they're going out there. They're like, we can't stop anybody, but maybe we can
Yeah.
score like a few cheeky goals. And they were very close to picking up 3 full points after being down 3-0. And I'll tell you what, I definitely had prediction money on Brentford, and I was
Mm.
bleeping my pants because I put
Were you
a
stressing? I
yeah,
bet you were.
absolutely. Because I wasn't even, I watched the first half and I was like, all right, this is in the bag. Like I watched my captain, I was like, all right. Then I had, you know, focus on the
You
baby and
go
the
on a
dog. And
walk. You're like, I
yep,
got
exactly.
this.
And
Yeah.
then I look up and then I
Double
keep seeing
win.
alerts coming on my phone. It's like 3-1, 3-2, 3-3, four
Oh,
three,
shit.
4-3 Burnley. It's like, what is going on? And then VAR takes it off, and then Brentford score. It was a pretty crazy roller coaster, but yeah, funny one there. I also wanted to shout out a couple other teams that have my interest, and it's really a bummer that uh, that Wilson might have picked up like a serious, like not serious, but like a multi-week ankle injury because it's been a season for. I feel like Thiago, Harry Wilson, and Semenyo, like that. Those are the defining players in the attacking positions that are cheap for this season. Like last year, I feel like for me, especially, it was Cunha, Wood,
Would.
and like
Yeah.
yeah, maybe another player sprinkled in there, but those three have dominated. So a good run of fixtures coming up for Fulham, and then they also play Burnley, I believe, in blank game week 31. So
I
yeah,
think you
hopefully
got to
Wilson's not
hold him.
injured.
I think
Yeah, you got to.
I,
Yeah,
I,
he's so
that's the
cheap
big
too.
issue I'm having right now with Haaland because he's flagged, but Pep is like, oh, it's nothing. And there was no mention of it in the press conference, of course,
Right.
because, why would we have
Typical.
rules or standards
I
in,
know.
in this day and age? And then, also Declan Rice comes off. He's now hobbled. So I think Wilson with a great fixture in 31 is not a priority for most managers. Hopefully you have at least one playing bench spot, if not several, and you can just cover him for this midweek. I'm still going to start him with the expectation that he is either going to start or he's going to miss out entirely. And
Yep.
that's kind of how I would be attacking the Harry
Oh,
Wilson
West
situation.
Ham at home too is juicy. They're letting some goals go by.
It's a derby. I mean,
Yeah,
he should be
at home.
motivated if he has even 75% chance of playing. He
Yeah,
got subbed off. He's going to get the ice it tonight, and then doesn't play until I think it's Wednesday. So that should be enough time if it's not a serious injury.
yeah. And then I think Anderson, center back, had
Flu.
illness, so he'll
Yeah,
probably
he'll
be
be fine.
back. I'll be honest, like Raul Jimenez for game week 31 as a punt. Don't hate it, because I'm
Yeah,
going to be
don't
looking at
hate
bench
it.
boosts.
And then
So
Kelleher, he just had a newborn, so certain managers are dealing with that flag. He'll also be back. I can say
yep.
as a dad, once you've met the kid in the hospital and you've changed a couple diapers, you get your wife
Tag
and
somebody
kid
else
home
in.
safely, then get back to
Yep.
work. There's
Yep.
there's not
Call
much
the
for you to do.
in-laws.
You're in the way.
Call the in-laws. All right, and then I was curious. I mean, this Everton win versus Newcastle defense, and once again, they have not picked up a single point. Excuse me, they have not won a single match when Bruno G is not in the lineup. They're
I
like
saw
0 for
that.
10, 0 for 10, and you can tell. I mean, you're losing 3-2 at home to Everton. Yeesh. Pickford played out of
Well,
his mind. He had some big saves in that one. I was watching the highlights, but
similar
you know,
to Spurs, Newcastle have just accepted their spot. I think they're going to be solely focused on Champions
yep,
League, and they're not going to get relegated. They're not going to make an auto qualifier for Europe based on how things are going right now and the fitness of their team. So they just need to prioritize a certain competition. It's going to be Champions League for
yep.
Newcastle, and you're just going to have to kind of accept that maybe they are mostly cross offs for FPL for the rest of the way in. And
And
then on
do you
Spurs,
agree?
same thing.
Do you agree with playing Gordon up top and Boltamati behind? It's kind of like it's a little interesting.
No, but you know what? Despite his performances in press conferences, I've come to accept that Eddie Howe is a pretty good English coach, and the guy
Hmm,
knows what he's doing. And especially, there's reports that Newcastle are now looking to sell Votamade as early as this summer. Someone they just brought in. I
Says
mean,
who?
listen, I think his best role, he's a tall lad. He's a talented player. He should be the number 9.
It's fine. Yeah.
But, I can't pretend that I know more than How about the sport. So I'm not going to.
7 goals and 19 starts. It's fine. Yeah, they
It's
always
fine, but
have some.
he plays number 9 for Germany, and he always seems to score.
Yeah.
So
Well,
maybe it's the Newcastle setup.
yeah.
They're not feeding
Yeah.
him the same way.
Yeah.
Is really at issue, not the player. But again, I'm not going
Anyway,
to critique How.
I was just calling that out just because I think Newcastle we've thought is like pretty stymie, but they seem a little bit more open
Well, they're
lately.
injured. The Bruno
Yeah.
G thing is a big loss, and then they had I think it was
Joelinton just came back. Yeah.
he
All
just
right.
came back. They're
Let's
dealing with some
pivot.
shit.
Let's look ahead, Bucks. Should we jump to our hashtag FPL community questions and then we can address a few of the
Let's
matches
quickly
to
just
come?
touch on game week 29. What are the midweek fixtures that everyone should know to
Mm.
focus their transfers on? Can you
Okay.
can you shout one or two of them out?
I mean, who's playing West Ham? Who's Fulham's
We
playing
just
West
said
Ham?
Fulham.
Yep. There's a few attacking points there. So I think the Wolves versus Liverpool match will be like a little bit interesting. Wolves, hey, congrats, Dan. We haven't talked about this.
Yeah,
A huge
it's about time.
three-pointer, and Bucks. I think you were on the right side of fate there in the
I'm not going to cop to any
early.
prediction market involvement or sports betting of any sort here. But my
I
kid's
will.
college fund is a little healthier than it was when the weekend started.
Yeah, we love that. We love that. But they've been playing like actually halfway decent on the defensive side. So gearing up for the championship.
They have Rob Edwards has really just like changed the spirit in that team. They're not going to stay up. They're way too far adrift for that to be a possibility. But he actually has them fighting. And that's more than you could say about either of the managers they had in before then. And it's just sad for Rod Edwards because I thought he also did a pretty good job at Ipswich Town and then, didn't get a chance
The internet providers
to stay in the Premier League. And he's not going to get a chance next season either. But, he's a coach with some gumption. I like it.
And there you have it. There's Wolves Corner without Dan on the pod.
Sorry,
dude,
Dan. We miss you.
Dude, Bournemouth, Brentford. Give me a 3-2 thriller. I want to see those two teams specifically in the table always play like 2-2s, 3-2s, 4-1s. Like just open it up, baby. Don't defend. Just open it up.
Yeah, and it's a really sad state of affairs because you look at the ticker and that Thursday match, which is kind of like one of those fixtures they want you to watch. They have it as a standalone, a London Derby, Crystal Palace at Spurs. Sheesh, that could be like the toilet bowl from like week 17 in the NFL. It's like both teams fully on the beach. No one's fit. No one gives a fuck. It's like who's gonna be tuning into that game? I'm gonna
Tottenham have a lot to play for. They are only 4 points ahead of the third relegation slot, so we'll see.
They haven't won. They haven't picked up a single point in 2026. So, as a Chelsea fan, I drink that in with joy. Long may that continue.
I tell you what, I'm glad Sonny left when he did because it would be rough to watch Son on this floundering Tottenham situation and just
did you
going
listen
down
to that Ange special? I know we're a little off the ropes.
Yeah, that was good.
Apparently they took all the Son and Harry Kane images off the wall and the Brennan Johnson Europa League winning goal. They also
hilarious. What a joke of a club.
Disgraceful club.
Yeah,
golly.
What a joke
Pretend
of a club.
To have some history.
Meanwhile, you see Kane like dude's elite at tackling, at passing, at scoring goals, like just absolute full like tool football player. And
let the record reflect, Brian. If you remember in preseason, do you remember who I said was my dream signing for Chelsea?
Did you say Kane? I can't remember that.
I did. I said we pay the 60 mil release clause. How genius do I look now, baby? I mean, they would be higher up on the table. They'd have scored more goals.
Yeah, I think
more goals in this match. I mean, he's such a player.
Specifically Kane, if he was at a different club, it would have been interesting to see if he was at United or at like another one of the big clubs for his whole career.
Liverpool like skipped Ekatike and Isak and just got Kane in, they'd be winning the league again. I mean, it's that
No,
simple.
we don't need to go that
Yeah, it
far,
is
but
that simple.
yeah.
He's that good. He
Anyway,
scored 40
yeah.
goals.
Anyway, Tottenham are a joke, so we don't need to go into
Yeah,
it too much.
joke.
They're just
Sorry.
I don't know what the fuck they're up to. It's just Mickey Mouse Club over there. All right, so City host Forest. We don't know about Haaland, but start Semenyo, start Nico O'Reilly. Also picked up a nice little knock. Unsure there, but you took him out and he's just returning every week, double
Yeah,
digits,
great.
clean sheets.
Playing
I'll
out of
be interested to
position.
see.
He's
Yep.
playing second striker certain
Oh
sequences
yeah,
of play.
I think he had like
Brilliant play by yours
three
truly.
headers, three header
Yeah.
attempts. I was like just checking out the heat map. I was like, whoa, is set pieces. No Haaland, he's getting in there for the headers because he's apparently 6'4". All right.
The
Um,
Fro might add some
yeah, of
juice
course.
in.
Of
He's
course.
juicing there. He's juicing the
Yeah.
stats.
Yeah. All right. So tell me about Villa Chelsea. Villa coming off of a
So
embarrassing
it's
loss.
if either team has serious hopes of qualifying for Champions League, you have to go in targeting and planning to secure all 3 points.
Okay.
Of course, it's an away match for Chelsea. That's actually better. We've been performing better on the road, which is an absolute disaster for a club of Chelsea's stature to be having more points on the road than at home. It's unfair and uncouth to the home crowd that is spending so much money. That being said, Villa are also in a kind of torrid run of form right now. And so, of course, this is, rated on the fixture difficulty rankings as a tough fixture. I actually think this is kind of like a gray fixture both ways. Neither team is in good form. Neither team is fully fit. I think there's going to be goals. And if you made me say it, I would say Chelsea win 2-1, but I think more realistically, it's a 2-2 draw, and both teams kind of leave kicking themselves that it was kind of a lost opportunity to gain ground. So,
yep, right on. All right, Bucks, we got a few more minutes here.
That one of these teams makes the Champions League, the other does not. I think that's who it's between. It's between Chelsea and Villa.
It's kind of where we're at in the table right now, so hard to disagree with that statement. Okay, now it's time to pivot to hashtag FPL community questions. We have 4 questions this week. Let's dive in. First things first, we have a question from @Bangla_FPL, aka Abdullah, wants to know the best Haaland replacements. So, Ekatike. Yep, he's, you got tons of money. So he's a great choice. Plays in the blank game week. Boom or bust, but he can definitely get those, 12, 13, 15 pointers. So you like that. Now, if you were going to go, for example, a double switch and you were going to move somebody like Haaland to Jimenez and then go for differential, maybe Rice to Salah or something like that. I've seen that, discussed here and there. I don't think it's worth the money, but somebody who's really trying to chase, they might go that way. So I think Raul is probably up there. Anybody else? Thiago is in every team, right? So he's not somebody that you mentioned.
Is kind of, he's the most obvious one. Ekatike is the kind of boom or bust, and then kind of the differential would be Šeško. United are scoring. They don't have midweek commitments outside of this week.
How many matches in a row has he scored?
If he keeps scoring, and so I feel like he's going to start midweek. United play. I think they play. Let me triple check this right now so I don't give our listeners. They play at Newcastle, and we just said that Newcastle have their eyes elsewhere. So I think United are going to score goals.
Crazy eights too. Three 8-pointers in a row for Šeško.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what.
I think he's a great differential pick. And then if you are for sure on free hit game week 31, which I am not, but I know that is at least some managers who are looking to be a little different are going to free hit in 31, so you don't have to worry about that blank. Strand Larson from Crystal Palace plays Spurs this week. He's nailed. He's probably on penalties. He's getting lots of chances. I don't hate that as kind of the 4th best pick.
Yeah, I mean, there's also a player like DCL. You got Sunderland, Palace, Brentford, United, Wolves, Bournemouth, Burnley, Tottenham, Brighton, West Ham. Decent run there too. I want to give some flowers to Šeško because mainly for a young player to stay ready. Because especially in a lot of these matches, he had 4 matches in a row where he had 9, 16, 15, 21 minutes, 31, 32 minutes, whatever it is. And he stayed ready and he scored in almost all those matches. So that you have to commend that to a player who came in with big expectations,
Yeah,
didn't quite
excellent
hit the ground running.
professionalism.
And yeah, that is something you and I definitely respect, because it's a new, especially being a new player to the Premier League. There's a huge adjustment period. You're playing for a big club with lofty expectations, historically. So good on them, good on the lad to keep his head on straight, right?
Yeah, and I think there's turmoil elsewhere in that team, but I think to come in and be drilled to like really fit into Amarin's system, and then all of a sudden Amarin's system is completely out, and now he's just really taken. And I think the team as a whole has really taken to Carrick's new style.
Yep.
They back themselves more. You could just see, not just with Sheshko, but with the entire team,
Shish, girl.
they've really flipped the script. They flipped the switch, excuse me, and they just believe that the only thing keeping them from a top four finish is themselves, and that if they just play and are bold in the way that they show up and compete, that there's nothing that's going to stop them. And I back that. I think United are very well set up for once a week football, and I think their place in the Premier League table is reflecting on the quality that they have in that team.
Right on. All right, next question is from Mark Venekamp FPL. He wants to know best Enzo replacement for the next 3 game weeks.
Fucking
2.5 million
anyone,
in the bank.
anybody. Damn
Oof.
it.
He is especially with Palmer back in the fold, he is not being in any attacking
And he's
positions.
taking silly yellow cards, which we just talked about. I mean,
Oh yeah, that
I
was a
think
bad
the
one.
list isn't so different from the list that
Oh,
was last
are we
week, which
also
was,
salty because he auto subbed on our off our benches? I think he was both of our first subs this week, so you
yeah,
can't
he
even get a
was.
2-pointer out of him. Ugh.
Can't have them all. If Wilson is fit, he'd still be my favorite cheapy replacement. He's just, his ceiling is so much higher, I feel like, than the rest of these guys on a game week in, game week out
Yep.
basis. Beyond that, Dango and Shad still look excellent value. Rather than Ryan from Bournemouth, you probably want to slot Tavernier into the considerations
Yeah, I
there.
shouted him out last week.
And then
Yep.
listen, you could do worse than just having Elliot
Good Yakko,
Anderson
right?
drop 4 points and 5 points each and every game week. So that's the cheapies. That's the cheapie
Yeah.
universe. Or Dewsbury Hall. We haven't talked about this guy, KDH. He's hauling all the way to the bank right now. The guy's he's gonna end up making himself a couple more $1 million at the end of the season.
Yep. Good picks. Good picks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked Verts to be the one to fit in here,
He's
but
expensive though. He's a tough one to get to
yeah.
straight swap.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are thinking about making multiple moves though, and even selling Haaland, you're going to have tons of cash. So I think just monitor the Vert situation. You'd like that entry point of either Wolves or Tottenham in the next 2. So I'll be paying attention there as well because I
How
don't
about
think
Rogers?
Salah's worth it.
Can we have an honest conversation about Morgan Rogers? Maybe we set out the
Good
Amber
player.
alert and see if
Good
anyone's seen
player,
him.
not great for FPL.
Yeah, it's weird. He's kind of been a magician this season because he's either shows up and delivers from like nothing, or he doesn't show up at all. He disappears. I think he's returned in only like 8 game weeks all season. So
Yeah,
he's just a player. He gets 90 minutes. He gets a lot of cardio in. He's not doing a lot of heavy lifting for FPL right now, at least. Of course,
yeah,
I say
I
that,
mean,
and then he hears this, and he, starts angry, putting this on the bulletin board, and he's going to brace and get 3 bonus versus
yep.
Chelsea just to stick it in me. I know. Thanks, Morgan.
Yeah, it's interesting because like last year he was trickling along with assists here and there and like lots of like 6 to 8 pointers,
Yeah,
whereas this year he's actually put 3 15-point game weeks. He's had 3 matches where he's braced. So, I think he's fine. I
yeah.
probably wouldn't be going for him, but in terms of like, I still rate the player. He's a young talent. He's very much like in
Oh,
the
for sure.
England
That's not
potential
what I'm saying.
squad. I think it's like largely I think Villa have overperformed their talent level that they have across the squad, and so sometimes when it looks bad, right? Because they just don't have the game breakers to, drag them through a really tough match, especially with
Yeah,
Ollie
fair,
Watkins
fair.
off of it. like Watkins last year, solid. 2 years ago, awesome, right? So I think that kind of contributes to kind of his appeal. But all right, next question here we have a question from former FPL champion Jamie Piggott, aka at Football is Life. He wants to know, why is Salah so shit? He, I believe, went with a solid captaincy this week,
Yeah,
and
he
that
did.
did
I saw
not pay
that.
dividends. Oof.
He cut his hair. He's flamed out with the manager, and he's missing going home for a wedding to have a little too much fun. I think that's really what's
Mm.
up right now. And
He was also always a bit dicey to give the armband to the Ramadan man, right? That's
well, I don't know, because people, I mentioned that on the last podcast, and a couple people were telling me that Dango actually has a history of delivering during Ramadan. So
yeah.
I
He's
guess
young though.
these
He's young.
guys are
Like, stop.
fitness freaks. It's like no
Salah's
big deal.
an old head at this rate, though. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah,
here
he's a freak at this
he's
point,
not
and
he's not
he
bouncing back
scores
the
he
same
scores
way.
no matter what god or what day it is.
No.
That's Mo
You're
Salah.
thinking that's 2024, 2025, man. It's
Well,
different
I
different
just think
years.
that the Liverpool, you watch that game, and he's desperate. He's I don't know
Yeah,
what the right word is for FPL, but if he was a gambling man, we'd say he was on tilt, because
yeah,
like
for
he was
sure.
so desperate to score. He was doing dumb shit.
Yeah. All right. Last question we have is from at my Cayman fan, aka Matt, wants to know, in light of recent team news scandal, how much pressure do you feel
Ooh,
YouTubers are
scandals. Tell
under?
me more. What
Oh
happened?
my goodness. So did you see what happened with Let's Talk FPL Andy?
Maybe he
Okay.
swapped the armband, right? Like last minute.
Yeah. So basically on his he's does the live stream before the deadline, right? And he's tinkering
Okay.
and he's making changes, whatever. And he didn't hit save. And so his instead of his screen had showed him captaining Haaland. Instead, he didn't hit save in
Oh,
time because he was
fuck.
doing his transfers and he had the armband on Bruno. Ultimately, he is in the top 1,000. He's on pace for his best finish ever. And
Damn.
I'm a big fan of
Good for
his. I
him.
think he's a player. He's a player that is like a pretty straight shooter. And like, if he had data, or if he had leaked news that Haaland was going to be out, he would have just transferred him to Ekatike. That would have been
Yeah,
sus.
that makes
That
sense.
would have
That
been
makes sense.
sus, right? But like, it does him no good to like not share news that he fully believes. Now, when you're a YouTuber with 500,000 subscribers, like some of those top guys, you are in a spot where people reach out to you. They slide into your DMs, being like, "Hey, I got news. I got somebody in the back kitchen at Brighton, like at the Amex. They're saying that these guys didn't get off the bus." Like,
Oh, okay.
and it's
I
like
got
you
you. I
you
got
you have to delineate between, is this a real source or is this bullshit? And most of the time, he is very forthcoming where he says, this is not something that I actively want to retweet. I don't want to post about it. It's not part of his shtick as a YouTuber, right?
you. Okay.
So a lot of people were just upset about this, and then ultimately everybody fucking got the Bruno vice captain points, anyway. And so it was just interesting to see the big backlash, and when
Everyone.
as
I
as
guess I didn't get that early ping here as an
yeah.
esteemed
Yeah, me
YouTube
neither.
creator
Me neither.
myself.
Me neither. And I'll tell you
I
what,
think,
just
let me
like
turn it around.
as social media though, it's like half the people are gonna be pissed that you didn't like tell them exactly what to do for their own fucking team, and then the other half are gonna be like, oh, you're just doing it for clickbait or whatever. So it's a like kind of a no-win situation once you become one of these larger, you know. I mean, we're playing a fucking game where you're moving around
Yeah, who
jerseys in
cares?
an
It's a
app.
game.
So he was
If
pretty,
Andy
a little
wins it,
shook up
let's say
about the
this:
abuse.
if Andy were to win it,
I
right,
hope he
then I
wins it.
think it would be a controversy, right?
Mm.
Because he
Absolutely not. I hope he wins. I hope he
all
shuts
right, I love it.
everybody
I
up.
love it.
That's great.
I'll just say
Yep.
this because I know we're humble roots. We don't get any additional information, so I think situations like this only underscore how impressive it is. Shout out to the last question asker, Jamie, who's the only winner from the USA. I know he's not in the know. He won it, just based on luck, good picks, and good process. And I know you finished, within the top 550 in the world last season. You weren't getting any information. No one was in your DMs with any additional help or leg lifts. And whatever the case is, I think people just take FPL a little too seriously. I think this is a perfect example of that. But also,
Yeah.
at some
The
point,
the
Andy's
abuse
livelihood,
the
right? His
abuse was bad.
livelihood is the YouTube channel.
Yep.
And if Harry, who's another excellent YouTuber and friend of the show, if he were to do the same thing, we know for a fact he's one of the most cloned teams in the universe, right? So like every
The Harry
time that
clones.
Harry is in the
Attack of the
top
clones.
10K, that means no one else is in the top 15K because all his
Man.
clones are there with him. So I
Yep.
think at some point, right, Andy's being a little
Oh my God.
selfish and he's putting himself first. And that's his right to do because FPL is his life and his business. And so anyone who says that this guy needs to have a moral awakening or whatever, go touch
Get
grass. It's
fucked.
just a
Yeah.
hobby that we play on our phone. None of us are in the Premier League. Grow up.
It's just like, if he would have taken out Haaland for somebody else in the last 10 seconds of the deadline, it was just like
Oh, for
he
sure.
just didn't hit
People would
save,
be.
and like it's a joke. It's hilarious. But yeah, the abuse
But
is
I
bad
also
though.
think that
If you go look at some of the comments later, Bucks, like it was
I'm
pretty
going
bad.
to. Can you send me a
Yeah.
link? I'm
Yeah,
going
yeah.
to geek out
All
on
right,
this.
I got a jet the Bucks here. Let's wrap it up
Hold
with
on.
our
One last
transfer
thing. One last
plans and
thing. Just to
captaincy
make sure.
shouts.
Just make sure. On the stream, was Bruno his vice captain?
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
So people are making a molehill
Yeah.
out of this guy getting the
Yeah,
points
yeah.
he was always getting. What are we even messing around about? He got the points. Everyone else got the Bruno vice cap points. Not me, but he did. So there's no drama here. There's no nothing. And again, that's just with a grain of salt. You're following these big accounts because they're experts, but they're only experts because they get good ranks. And so if everyone else copies their exact moves, their rank doesn't look as good. So at some point, who's feeding who?
We're just trying to feed our kids, Bucks, just like he is.
Come on.
All right, next up, let's get out of here. I'm going to move probably Haaland to Ekatike, and then probably roll my other 2 transfers, and then get spicy.
The discipline. Sheesh.
Yeah. Like I said,
Who's the cap? Who's the cap?
Oh man, I have no idea. I got to see what's on the squad. I will get back to you, but probably somebody spicy. That's all I got. What about you?
Okay, great. You're pulling. We just talked about the controversy and that you're not spilling your full beans.
I literally have not looked at
rank.
I look at my squad once a week, Bucks. When you're not even playing the game, you look at it once a week. Sade that's my captain from this week.
Okay,
so
I love it.
I'll leave it on him. I don't know.
I have Haaland. My plan was to move Rice to Dango. I still think that's my plan.
Cool.
I will captain Haaland, and I will just make sure to set my vice captain's armband probably on Bruno this week. I will make amends for last week.
Yeah.
But I think Thiago could be a great captaincy option as well.
I want 3-2. 3-2 either way, and that match would be fun. Okay, actually, yeah, I'll be captaining Ekatike. Sorry about that. I see now that that will be the process. Because
okay, cool.
That'll be my 4th time, 5th time, 6th time captaining him this year. I got to get 1 return. Sheesh. All right, Bucks. It's been a pleasure.
The big issue this game week, and again, this is going to just define how the week goes, is if Haaland's fit or not. Because I think if the whole community gets access to the information, there'll be lots of hits flying around. I know I would be one of those managers who rips the Band-Aid and just injects a -4 right into my veins. So
love it.
Hopefully we get green arrows. Hopefully we get some exciting midweek action. Best of luck, best of health, safety, and love wherever you listen to this podcast. I'm Bucks. That's Brian. We love you. We love FPL. We hate all the nonsense.